All right. So again, welcome everybody to the Master of Nutrition and Dietetics Program, our 2025 Admission Prospective Student Info Session. My name is Xing Yan. I'm the Dietetics Program Manager. So our goal for today's session is to help you understand the program more vividly, get your some sense of how to get ready for your application coming up, and answer all the questions you have. So next slide. Before we start, I really want to take a moment to acknowledge that we, as a program, also myself, today presenting the entire session for you from my UBC office, which is on the UBC Vancouver campus, the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of Musqueam people. So for our program, we do commit to the ongoing work of reconciliation, and our program is aiming for a lot of great initiatives aligned with UBC Health and other medical and allied health programs to promote Indigenous cultural safety, help students to gain intercultural competencies and skills of conflict resolution. And for myself, it's very new this year. I also take a moment to reflect on what this meant to me. As an immigrant in Canada for over 10 years, I appreciate this land nurtured me and enriched my learning and life experience here. And I think it formed a better of myself. So if you are from an international background, if you don't know this, this is a great initiative that we are doing here. And if you are located in Canada, you probably know about all of the work we are doing for this reconciliation work. So we also encourage you to reflect on the traditional and ceded territory that you live, work, and play on. Okay. Now it's officially going to the next slide. So as I just mentioned in the very beginning, that for today's session, we will have the time to go over the program, what is about that, and then of course take time to talk about admissions and leave a lot of spaces for you to do the Q&A. Before that, we will also do a panel introduction. As you see, we have all of our MND staff members here to present ourselves for you. If you have questions, this is a QR code here for you to post a question in the Slido. So we will use that platform to address the questions you may have or other prospective student may have. Okay, so our next slide. Sorry, it's a bit wonky with my mouse and keyboard today. So here is the glance at our team. So as you know, my name is Xing Yan. I'm the program manager for serving the areas like student services and admission pieces. And here with me today, our director, Dr. Tamara Cohen. She's waving her hands. And on top of the screen, you see Skylar Parent. He's our program coordinator. He's actually doing a lot of great back-end work for us, including the capstone research project management. Great work. And we also have two other faculty members and our lecturers here. They are our MMD lead, Anna Briscoe, and also Bruna Donati, our faculty lecturer who teach a lot of our nutrition care courses. So that's more of the people working for the MND program. You also see three other educators on the screen. They're not able to join us today, but if you're a student here, you probably will see them in the future time that when you experience the practice education. They mainly focus on the practice education for the undergraduate program, which I'll mention a little bit later. Okay, next slide. So in today's session, of course, you will hear a lot of details from me, but I do want to refer those links that as always useful pieces for you because you don't always get a chance to talk to me, right? So everything that we related to the program, to the admission, are posted on the website. So first is that I always recommend students to check out our dietetics program website, the MND site, because all of the detailed pieces, the nitty-gritty pieces, has been put in on this website. So the first one is the most important piece, you need to check it out. The second page is the faculty page. We have that page for a table of the curriculum plan, which Anna later on will talk about in detail. But if you want to refer to what's happening in the 28 months, you can check out that page as well. Of course, some of the students here today are joining us or finding information from UBC Graduate Studies website. That is also a good site to go because it gives more broader information about how this program is running under UBC Graduate Studies umbrella. Of course, if you have more questions, feel free to address your questions through the email we have here, dietetics.admissions@ubc.ca. Okay, so I have the next 3 slides for Tamara to talk about our program.
Thank you so much, Xinyan, and thank you everyone for joining us here today. As mentioned, my name is Tamara Cohen, and I am the director of the Dietetics Program, and the MND program has a very special place in my heart, being the expansion of the BC landscape of dietetic practice here in the province. So we really pride ourselves, both undergraduate and graduate programs, to be progressive in the way that we teach our learners and to really inspire them to advance dietetic practice and food systems in ways that foster inclusion, integrity, and justice for all. Dietetics is an incredibly collaborative type of health profession. So if that doesn't speak to you, I don't know if this program is for you. And we really pride ourselves on being incredibly community focused. And that means listening to our interest groups, our stakeholders, and understanding what our community needs, right down from patient partners, right up to systems and policies to ensure our program aligns with that. I will mention one last very important piece, which is our mission. We really strive, and UBC historically and is currently very strong in ensuring that our learners are ready to practice. So we, which we'll explain later on, our program is based on competencies and which vary from everywhere from, nutrition therapy to food systems management, and ensuring that students are well prepared for these entry to practice roles in dietetics. Our program objectives are listed here, and it's quite heavy, but in essence, we aligned with our national accreditation body. Our goal is to ensure that the learners are prepared to assess and meet the needs, nutritional needs of individuals, communities, and populations, really working in those interdisciplinary and interprofessional teams. And that sort of strives with that last point that I made very clear, that dietetics is an incredibly collaborative approach to health and how we sort of govern ourselves. I'm very proud to say that we were the first program in Canada to release an EDI statement, and we really pride ourselves on decolonizing our curriculum and working towards inclusive practice. And that starts really with the academic side, which we really value in teaching our learners equity lens to health promotion and advocacy. Students in our program will become very versed and hopefully, and which we've seen, practice in culturally safe ways to whichever groups that they serve. We value and really try to teach by leading by example, but really striving to make sure our learners are capable of leading, are organizing and monitoring food service provisions, again, to meet the needs of organizations. And finally, which we'll get into a little bit more detail, but one of the unique parts of the MMD program is pushing the dietetic practice forward using that evidence practice-based lens, particularly making sure that learners of this program are equipped to combat any sort of controversial theory or practice, or even pushing dietetics practice further using a rigorous research lens. Would you like me to continue on?
Yeah.
Yes. Great. So what is the MMD program? The MMD program is so unique, one of the only in Canada truly, and well, really the only in Western Canada, that's a 28-month full-time professional graduate program. So what does that mean? It means that when you come into the program, we as UBC accredited program will ensure that you meet all those entry to practice competencies attained from courses, so that's the academic program, but also integrated practice education. So you might wonder, what is that? What does that mean? You might know that as internships, as they were formerly called, where you go out into the community for 39 weeks total to attain those applied skills that you would learn in class. So the uniqueness, again, to the MMD program is that we will guarantee and we will organize those placements on your behalf. The degree outcomes is that you will be practice ready, so meaning the day after you exit our little nest and become an MMD grad, you will be competent and hopefully confident into practice as dietitians that are trained. Unique again to this program and that differentiating piece to the undergraduate program is this research capstone project. This is a non-thesis program. We must emphasize that. So you don't need to go out and seek a faculty supervisor. You're not going out to get stipends. There's no like research scholarships that would come with this program. Instead, we will provide you with a research project, well, that you get to pick from, and teach you how to conduct rigorous research within the lens of dietetic practice. So this is something that is not offered in the undergraduate program. And the capstone research project does last a full year.
Thank you so much, Tamara, for the very overview part for our program. There's actually a lot of information here. If you capture nitty-gritty a little bit here and there, you will see that our mission, vision, values. You will see this entire program at a glance, and I hope that helps you just get a little bit poked now. And going on, I think I'll pass the floor to Anna, who will actually dive a little deep to the detail of our program, how the course planning will look like. Over to you, Anna.
Hey, lovely to be here. Lovely to see so many people coming to hear more. And yeah, so I'm just going to review a little bit of the curriculum, what kinds of courses, how we integrate those placements, practice education experiences that Tamara was talking about, how the capstone research project also fits in. And so you can think about it that the first term, we've got sort of 28 months, so it's two years and then one more term at the end. And so you can think about the first year of courses is really, that first term is really foundational knowledge and preparation for, all the different areas of dietetic practice. So we have 2 professional dietetic practice courses on campus. The first one is really an introduction to the profession of dietetics, learning the different fields within it, and really understanding what does it mean to become a dietitian. Then you're also going to have the second part, which will be in the second year of the program, that digs more into actually putting those things into practice. So then, additionally, in the first term, you have really some very content-heavy classes, but really, again, foundational knowledge, nutrition assessment through the lifespan, advances in human nutrition, which is really all of the micronutrients, macronutrients, metabolism, really integrating some stuff from the prerequisite courses that Shanann will talk about, around biochemistry and basic nutrition to really make sure that you're ready to get going. And then beginning those capstone projects while in a research methods class with the thesis-based students in the faculty or in our discipline of human nutrition. And then getting into term 2, you're really looking at now sort of the areas of practice in dietetics, whether it is looking at food, so food theory and applications is really hands-on course, teaching kitchen. We've also got counseling skills in dietetics, which really focuses on those communication skills, understanding, context and how to build rapport, empathy. Nutrition Care 1, which is your clinical nutrition course. There are 3 of those over the course of the program taught by Bruna, and really getting you in there in terms of understanding then what does it mean to be a clinical dietitian. And then population and public health dietetics, which again is sort of zooming out a bit more and thinking about how do we impact the health of populations? How do we understand what factors around us contribute to health at a population level? And then into the summer, there are 2 placements as well as time to work on your capstone projects. So you'll be out in placements across the province. And then when you come back in year 2, back to campus in the fall, that's September there, you will then continue with more growing those skills. We've got food provision management, leadership in health and dietetics, which involves advocacy projects, nutrition care in part 2, and then getting into that really the time that is set aside for your practice-based research projects to implement, to analyze, to present those results. And then term 2, you get into the professional practice part 2, really looking at that transition between campus learning and practice education. Indigenous Health and Dietetics, which is a unique course in the MND program, as well as the Leadership in Health and Dietetics is also a unique course. Nutrition Care Part 3, making sure really understanding all of the disease states and situations, and then Business and Entrepreneurship. And then from there, you're going back out into placement, 4 placements, 2 in the summer and 2 in the fall. And so those will be in management and leadership, and then 3 placements in nutrition care. So really making sure you have a well-rounded experience in placements across the province. And just wanting to point out a couple different things around sort of similarities and differences to the undergraduate curriculum, because of course both meet entry to practice competencies for dietetics. And 7 courses in this curriculum are cross-listed with undergraduate dietetics students. In year 2, there'll be different learning outcomes, different requirements for master's students versus undergraduate students. And in terms of the overall program, undergraduate students will have some additional courses from the faculty related to food systems, whereas the MND has a greater focus on leadership, Indigenous health, and then of course the capstone research project. So hopefully that gives you a sense of all the different kinds of learning and the different opportunities you'll have as a student in the MND. I'll pass it to Shinyan.
Thank you so much, Anna. Yeah, really appreciate that, and that helps you dive into very deep of the every part of our program. And honestly, I really like this slide just because it's up to date now. So everything is aligning with what's happening now. And you can find that the nutrition care pieces is in the very middle, and you can see the capstone. It's kind of like something knitting through your entire program. It's at the very bottom, but it's happening there. So look at these slides and check it later as well. You will have a sense what's really going on with our program. Okay. Now it's time to know how to get into the program, and the floor will be mine to talk about admission requirement. So if you have been looking at this program for a while, you probably will notice that our program admission requirement really have not changed a lot. We have keep a consistent progress until today. So still we are looking for 5 prerequisite courses. Oh, sorry, I was starting with the beginning part. Of course, to apply to UBC graduate studies, you will need to meet the minimum requirement by the graduate studies. That means you need to have an undergraduate degree, and your undergraduate degree needs to be for domestic as 3rd and 4th year courses, overall GPA above 76 or B+. If you're international, they will calculate your GPA for the entire degree, also needs to be B+ or 76 above. So the MND program welcomes everybody to apply. Doesn't matter which background you have. You may learn something like environment science or art-based programs, psychology. That's totally fine because going on, we will need to meet 5 prerequisites. Those 5 prerequisites will build you the stage to get into the program. You will have some basic knowledges to really get into our curriculum. But those 5 prerequisites you need to definitely complete it before enter the program. And those 5 prerequisite courses, your grades are being assessed in the process. So you can get into our website. You notice that we make the rule here very clear. I got a lot of inquiries about how this is going to be progress. So by next year, April 2025, you will need to have everything ready. And in the admission submission process, you can only have FNH 200, the introductory food science course, along with another course in pending. So that's very deep pieces. If you missed this part, send an email to me and I'll explain to you again. But this is the first part of the recipe. You need to have those 5 prerequisites done. And going on, well, as what required by the grad studies, you will have 3 references, which one is academic and one can be professional, and the third one, it can be either academic or professional. We also recognize that this is a professional graduate program, and a lot of applicants are maybe leaving the school for years. And if you feel like it's really hard to find an academic reference for you, you can have 3 professional reference, but just send us an email, let us know ahead of time. And another side of pieces I want to mention is that please do instruct your referee to submit the email address with like not Gmail, not Hotmail. It has to be associated with or affiliated with an organization. And for you to shine in front of us, to let us know who you are, we will need you to submit a piece of resume and a statement of intent. Please do use the template of our statement of intent on the website. It is login and you are allowed to write up to 250 words there. You can use our resume template on the website as well as a good templates, but you can also make it up by yourself. Yeah, so those are the key documents you need to prepare. So this is just I mentioned that how you need to complete those courses and what are conditions that we are offering. In the last 3 years of admission process and help prospective students, I think more and more students are getting into those courses, and we really appreciate your efforts working on those courses. So if you have more questions about where I can take the course, how I can do those things, you can always reach out to me. I do have some resources for you. And the condition B, which we state that credit course, we only allow 1 on your transcript that shows one of the prerequisites maybe have a credit status. This is due to 2020 worldwide pandemic issue. So a lot of institutions allow students to change the grades to credit by that time just for that term. It maybe happened to other terms under the institution as well, but you only can have 1 course in credit, and it has to be presented in your transcript. It's not working like you're not meeting the credits, meeting the requirements. You ask the admission committee to consider it as credit. It has to be presented officially on your transcript. Okay, so speaking of the prerequisite, because this is the most part that students feel really confused and also help needs more explanation and help, we do build up this flowchart. So basically, you need to consider about whether this course is being offering at UBC or it's being recognized by BC Transfer Guide, or it's been listed on our approved course list. If it is, that's totally fine. But if it's not, for a student, especially for our international applicants, you can use the prerequisite checklist, which is on our website. We list all of the detail of each course, what kind of content you need to achieve, and you can always match pair with the course that you complete in your own institution and self-declare that. What the document you submit is this self-report form, the prerequisite checklist, and also your course syllabi. The course syllabi is the key pieces to help the committee understand what really been taken, what you have really learned from the claimed course. So it is really needed from your side for those preparation. Okay. So for the entire process, it looks like this. If you're interested to apply for the coming cycle, mark on your calendar. Friday, November the 15th, 4 p.m. will be the deadline close. That's a Friday. So I do have a little bit recommendation and advice on this side is that make sure you submit a bit early because maybe on the last minute, the internet is down, something happened. So just be a little bit well prepared for that. And we are around. So if you have issues, you can always reach out to us. But after Friday, it's weekend, so we may not be able to address that. So just a bit heads up. So two pieces you need to complete. The first is the official graduate studies application. So you can find that portal, either the link that we provide on our website, or just directly go to UBC Grad Studies website, search it, and you will be able to log into their portal and submit the entire pieces. It's pretty self-explanatory, straightforward. What will happen after you pay the fee, click the submission button there, they will trigger 3 emails to the referees. As I just mentioned, your reference people will receive the link to upload the reference letter for you to submit the assessment for you there. And all of the students are encouraged to complete the self-report form. It is not encouraged, actually it's mandatory. Even like your course is being completed at UBC, I do want you to submit one as well, just to let us know what's happening in your course completion. So the prerequisite course for other students, you also need to declare there as well. So that's all what can happen on or by November 15. What will happen after November 15? We will start to gather all of the information, documents, applications from grad studies. We will start to calculate your GPA. We will start to review your application, and it will be a busy time for us through the entire winter break. And by the mid of January or late January, we will select or shortlist the candidate for the interview. And the interview will happen in February next year. And after the interview, the offer will be out in March. Okay. So just a bit of pieces talking about, I just mentioned about like we're going to be a very busy winter time and how we're going to assess your application. So the GPA calculation is based on the prerequisite only because every student is from maybe a variety of different backgrounds. You may do very well in theater in a different background, but we're more looking at how you'll be prepared for MND, for being nutrition, dietitian role in the future. So the GPA assessment is just on the 5 prerequisites. That's why also we do require you to complete at least 3-4 courses there, right? Your resume and statement of intent or interest will be assessed by the program vision, mission, value, our program object as well, like just Tamara explained to you. And we have a piece of document called the required skill and abilities for dietetics program. So take a look at that document. It's also very well written and lists clearly what kind of skill you will need to develop. So think about how you build your document in related to those 2 resources here. Of course, reference here will be related to your personal attributes, like suitable for the program or not. We also will, moving on from this point, and after the student being selected, the interview will be conducted by a panel of interviewers. We will assess applicants based on your criteria, the pieces that you answered for each questions, and we have everything set up to assess. We're also looking for oral communications as well because it is a very client-patient focused profession. So definitely oral communication is very important. So this is slides that we talked about earlier already, what is happening between our MND and undergraduate program. So just want to say that if you have an undergraduate degree complete already, of course, you are also eligible to apply for the undergraduate BSF and dietetics major. it is just a longer process. I won't explain too much here because you can join another info session hosted by me in November, which I'll be talking more about the undergrad by that time. But it is a longer prerequisite list to be complete, and also it nests under the Bachelor of Science in Food Nutrition House umbrella. So you do need to complete more credits than the MND program. It is a bit longer, lasting for 3 years, and we do 28 months. It's more rapid, more condensed program. And we do zigzag the time. You see the timeline here, that their deadline is a bit later than us. Yeah, so that's more about the undergrad program. And so if you're interested in more like Xinya, want to apply both, send an email to me. I can guide you to like how you start your undergraduate program. I do want to highlight that you see there's two different processes here, right? So they are separate. They are not mashing up together. We have different criteria. We have different people to review your application. So that's about the two program differences. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Going a bit fast. The other pieces I do want to seriously talk about is the program tuition and fee and cost. So this is the up-to-date data from grad studies of UBC. You can see the up-to-date in tuitions and student fees here. We do want to highlight that cost of living in Vancouver is expensive. So this is a professional program. We don't have a lot of funding resources to support students. Tamara mentioned it earlier as well. It's not research-based program. We have stipends for you. So we do want all of the applicants to think about how you're gonna finance yourself for the program. So including that, we have the placement in all of the sites across British Columbia. So we do require students to relocate once and twice in the program to complete a placement, to explore different experiences in different health authorities, different communities. So you will face the time to relocate, and that will cost you extra as well. So that's also something addition to be considered at your cost plan. For the preparation stage, when you get an offer from a program, we will need you to complete a criminal records check, and also you will be paying a little bit fee for immunization review. So they will check your immunization status. This is the things that I just want to say ahead of time, but it will happen after a student being accepted to the program. So more information and instruction will be given if they receive the offer. Through the year of the days that we are working on our getting more resource and funding for our program, we do have a little bit program award, like the one if you search on the if you search on the Google, we have a donor freebie offer a freebie award for our students. So there's a little bit funding, but it's not really something that given to every student. It's just award based on competition. But our student in-house today, a lot of them are doing research work with different professors. Potentially, they are also being teaching assistant to help our lecturers, our sessionals, our faculties in different classes. UBC does offer a very strong work-learn program. The work-learn is just a big umbrella. It hosts jobs from administrative support, food services, to all the way can be a research assistant as well. So enrolled students are also encouraged to look at that program. It is a very good payoff as well. So give you a little bit support financially as well. Of course, other students will find job off campus and seek resource and support from student loan. So those are the cost of living pieces I want to talk about. Okay, that's official, everything I want to talk about. So now it's time to answer your questions. And as I post things here, you can join us by using the Slido here. There's a QR code. If you want to scan, you can scan. If you're using computer, just type in 3w slido.com, and that's the number put in down there. Okay, I'm gonna switch to a different screen. I'm just gonna stop sharing for a second. And okay. All right. Okay, so we have 3 questions here. I'm gonna starting from the just a second. Let me pull my Zoom up again. Okay, I'll read the question aloud and I will see if the question I can answer. If not, I'll pass it to the panel. So the first one, when screening potential candidates, is volunteer experience highly valued? Or a candidate with less volunteer experience is still considered? Great question. So as I just mentioned, the CV, your statement of intent will be assessed, and the program is looking at transferable skills. We always mention about transferable skills that you will have. It can be from volunteer experience. It can also be from your working experience as well. And some students do mention what they do in the research role, but they more focus on other things as well. So any experience that you feel like can present yourself is highly recommend you to put on your resume. I want to pass this to our panel if anybody want to add on.
Yeah, I think you did a great job, Shinyan, but I just want to reiterate that we're looking for your skills and how you will be successful in the program. So it doesn't matter if you volunteer, if you've been working at Tim Hortons for the past 10 years, like anything goes. It's just how do you articulate how your skills and your experiences, irrespective of that environment, will help you be successful in the program.
Thank you so much, Tamara. Okay, I'll take this off. All right, so the next question, can you please confirm how the reference work? Do I understand it correctly that we only have to provide contact information? Yes, so when you log into the official application portal, you will see they're asking your reference. Literally, they ask the name of the person, the title of the person, and then their email address. So those are the key information you need to supply to this graduate application system. And the system will recognize everything. Once you click submit, the system will send them the link. It is a good question here. I also want to encourage all of the students. I would say it's your responsibility to follow up with your referee, how they complete those pieces. In a previous year, we did experience that student didn't know that their referee didn't submit the reference. And what will happen is it's an incomplete application sitting in the grad studies portal, and it will never ever move forward to our program to be reviewed. So I would really encourage all of the applicants triple check if first they receive the link, and then whether they submit on time or not. Okay.
I just want to add one piece on references, and thank you to Anna who posted some tips on how to ask for references. I think sometimes people don't appreciate how much this is important from our adjudication perspective, in that references really need to speak to who you are as a person. So it could be, again, in different facets. I mean, there are sort of rules. You can't have any family member or friend. But our recommendation is just because you've sat in somebody's class from a professor's perspective, sometimes they can't really speak to who you really are and what are those incredible skills and that personality that you have that will really make you shine in our program. So just think very carefully about your references because it's a very important part, again, maybe not in weight, but in terms of telling a nice story and also confirming parts of your CV.
Thank you so much, Anna, and thanks so much, Tamara, for the additional information. That's really helpful, I think. So going on, this question is up there because 2 people summed up, so I'll read it out to the audience. I noticed this program is not in the list of PDF accredited programs in Canada. Is there a reason behind this? I'll pass this to Tamara.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm smiling really loud. You can see through this. So it's not up yet, but we guarantee you that you will be able to graduate from the program, register the moment after you finish your time, mainly with Anna and Bruna as our program co-leads, if you want, in more of the practice education components. So it's coming soon that we will be listed on there, but I'll leave it at that. So to be determined very, very soon.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so moving forward, because I'm just looking at time, I try to answer as much as questions you have here. Will my prerequisites still be admissible if I complete them a decade ago? Yes, we don't really put down a time limits for your completion of your prerequisite. So you just need to supply us if it is not under the curriculum of UBC or under our approved list. You just need to submit the syllabus or syllabi for us to review. And yeah, it has to be, of course, officially printed on your transcript so I can accept it. Yeah, there's no time limit on that in a nutshell. The placements paid. The answer is no. So I want to explain this in an education perspective. You should think the placement is a course. It is actually literally listed in the course registration system. It is the course that you need to complete, and that's why the entire idea we call this program is called integrated education, integrated curriculum, because your placement is part of learning journey, is part of the curriculum. It's also part of pieces to help you reach the competency you need to have. So this is not paid, it's literally a course. In our structure, we will have 4 days for student on site and 1 day with our UBC educator, as Tamara just mentioned. You will be with Anna, we will be with Bruna for the final part, how you need to your skills build, what kind of competency you need to build more. That's all those time you're going to discuss in the placement. All right. The top questions here. Would an application from a student with a relevant MCS, I mean Master of Science, and professional experience be reviewed any differently? Any wiggle room if a prerequisite with less than B plus? Sorry, I have to clear one thing with the B plus and B issues here. First, you need to achieve B plus for your general GPA, the GPA calculated based on your undergraduate degree. That's what required by UBC graduate studies. For our program, the 5 prerequisites, the baseline is B, which is calculated as 72 in 100% scale. Needs to be 72 above, but that applies to each of the prerequisites. So it cannot be an average, something above 72. It has to be every course need to reach the 72, needs to reach the grade B or above. And this is a pretty hard pieces here because we do want to student success in the program. So you do need to have a very solid foundation knowledge of human physiology, definitely biochemistry, because with that stepping stone, you will advance in the HUNU 510, 550 course. Of course, the knowledge background of our food science and food system, food guide will, sells you out to the nutrition dietetics world. So those are very solid, and you have to get a B. And for the first part of the question, will students be assessed differently? Everybody will be on the same page with our reviewer, with our panel, with our committee, and with the same criteria to review.
I just want to mention one point on that, Xinyan, is our program truly values diverse students. And by that, I mean, if you find yourself, you've been out of school for 10 years, and this just speaks to you, we absolutely welcome you. Currently in our cohort, we have people who have been out of the school game, if you want, for about that much time. And so we don't want this to be intimidating for you. We can't stress enough to reach out to Xinyan if you need some one-on-one supports within a reasonable manner with the application process. But we're really hoping that you'll apply again if this sort of sparks an interest and really have a love for what our program speaks to. So if our values and mission speak to you, then hopefully we'll see your application soon.
Yeah, thank you, Tamara. So as to say, if you have maybe one course or two have been not meeting the requirement, we actually put on our guide. We encourage students to take a reattempt, and then we will calculate the higher grades in the process. Okay, going on the next question. How many students are accepted into the program each year so far, and how many people apply? Yeah, so we have 3 cohorts. The first cohort will mature soon. They are 10 students. The second cohort we have is 11, and the third we have 15. So you see, we have a bit booming of the entire process. We want to actually include more students into the program. So you can expect that the program is accepting around 14 to 16 students in the future as well. Yeah, so how many people apply? I have to also admit that this number is also growing. More and more students recognize our program and interested in this and want to put an application forward. So this is also increased as well. We started with like 50 and going to 60, and I'm really open more. Of course, it's more workload for us, but we really, really want to read your story, know who you are, give us a chance, give yourself a chance to see if there's an opportunity there to have you in our program. So data numbers is just a number. I don't want that intimidate you shy away from the application. Do we send a follow-up email once we've completed any prerequisite in progress along with any transcript? Yes, it is a very good process. I appreciate whoever raised this question. I think the student is very self-paced and knows what's going on there. Yes, if you complete your prerequisite and you have an application submitted, reach out to me, send a transcript to me, yeah, and then we will add it on to your application. But just as you know, the process line I showed you earlier in the slides, we will have to finalize everything in the mid or late January. So anything later than that, you may not be considered. So if you complete a course by the end of December, you got the grades, yeah, keep an update and we will update that for you. Is it possible to take this program with a reduced course load? Great question. So it is very hard to accommodate. It's a pretty intense program. We have this, in a packed role to give it to the student. So each term, students do have 4 courses, as you see. So pretty hard to do a reduced course load. The other reason is we ladder the course to each other. So one will be another course as prerequisite. So if you miss one course, you're not able to progress to the next term, and it will impact your practice education as well. So that's why it's a really good curriculum. It just gives you each step to move forward. But if you miss one step, it's gonna hard to give you a leap. So we cannot really give a lot of accommodation or reduced course load. Will we be able to choose the field specialization of dietetics in the placements? Would I be able to experience what it is like to be a sports dietitian? Actually, I want to pass this question to Anna. I think I talk a lot. Anna and I will do a lot of placement planning as well. So, Anna.
Yeah, so I appreciate that that you're curious about sports nutrition. That's amazing. With the ways that our program is structured, it's really about entry to practice, which is a generalist. There is no specific specialization in dietetics in Canada. And so the placements vary quite a bit. In general, because a lot of sports nutrition or sports dietitians work within private contexts, we don't have clinical placements there because most of our clinical placements are with our regional health authorities, so that they're working in the public system. So I'd say that there may be opportunities to do non-clinical placements in a sports nutrition setting if we have one available, but that is not something that we have in terms of specialization come to, because of the fact that dietetics is a generalist field, and we want to make sure that people have exposure to all the general areas of practice, including acute care, outpatient, long-term care, really making sure that that's well-rounded. So thanks for your question, though.
Yeah, great question. I think the other pieces, maybe I'll speak to how far the placement from the Lower Mainland. Could you provide some examples of current placement location? We do work very well with our provincial body and also 7 health authorities across BC. So for Lower Mainland, the farthest you can go is all the way to like Fraser Health have sites in Chilliwack, Oxford, and can be in the Vancouver Coastal to Squamish Hospital, also Sunshine Coast area. We have been sending students to those spots, and yeah, some students moving away actually from Lower Mainland to Island or interior also receive great experience there as well. Okay, quick cue for this question. For the student fee, would there be paid 3 times or twice? So we do 3 installments every year. The slides also showing you earlier, like how much you need to pay. Yeah, so it will be happening in September, January, and May. So sorry, I will do the first question. For the application consideration, what is the weight of the work experience versus academic? So the part considered in this way. So 30% will be calculated or converted from your academic, which is the GPA, your CV, and sorry, should be resume, CV resume, because some of the students asking us a lot of questions about like, should I do a longer CV or a short resume? We post on the our website, we clearly say 2-page. So it doesn't matter, it's called CV or resume, 2-page, please. So your 2 pieces of resume along with your statement of intent will weight 30%, and your reference letter will weight 10%. And we use the 70% to shortlist people. And the rest of 30% will be calculated from your interview. So that's how it's been weighted. Does your undergraduate GPA have any influence on your application? The only thing you need to do with your undergraduate general degree is just to pass the gate of grad studies. That's very important. Yeah, this is what grad is required. So there's nothing, as I just mentioned, how we calculate your GPA, right? So it's everything in the scale. Yeah, I also just mentioned this. Do you prefer a CV or prefer a resume? So it doesn't matter, it's called CV or resume. We put the 2 words on our website as well. It's maximum 2-page.
And we have a formatted, like a skeleton template. We like to use it because that can be helpful. Because, you know, we have specific things like wanting to know the hours, the relative amount of time that you're in there, because rather than just sort of the start date and end date. So the template can be helpful.
Yeah, thank you, Anna, for that highlight as well. Is there coursework associated with the placement that are required in order to complete this course? I'm a bit confused with this question.
I can speak to it.
Yeah, Anna, go ahead.
So the general placement, they're courses, but they include the placement, and then on top of or through the placement, there are some particular assignments. For example, case studies that you're presenting to your peers, research projects that are with a community partner, in the case of management and leadership. You know, there's different sort of assignments, but they're really embedded in your placement experiences rather than being on top of it. Another example would be we'll have specific assignments related to more like we call it restricted activities here, but essentially more specialized skills within a clinical practice setting. So there's extra assignments, but they're not necessarily separate from the placement experience in the course overall. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anna. Will it be sufficient? I just taking a look at our time. We are almost close to our scheduled time. So maybe I just answer 2 more questions and we'll go to the closing part. So will it be sufficient to take out government provincial loan for tuition and housing cost? As I mentioned earlier, that our program is eligible to apply student loan. And once you're in the program, I will definitely refer you to our enrollment services. We have very, very strong, knowledgeable ESA, enrollment service advisor there to help students set up everything. And so far, our students are benefit from that as well. So for FNH 200, some students asking about, is there an equivalent list to that? It is on a website that approved course list. FNH 200 is a bit specific course that offer not too many in a lot of institutions, because it is a very specific food science knowledge course. So like we have this course at UBC, other province who offers dietetics programs, they may run some courses like that as well. So the good thing for FNH 200 is that this course is offered online. There's an online delivery mode that you can take at UBC. So it doesn't matter where you are, you can apply to be an unclassified student and then register into that course. Okay, one more questions maybe. Does a person applying in July have the same chance of getting acceptance than someone who applied in November? Oh, this is very clear to answer. We don't take students in July. There's only one intake, I think. It's September. And the program always starts in September. It is aligned with our plan to get students into placement. It is rolled out as our 28 months curriculum plan. So it always starts in September. The student will complete their program in December, and then will go through an interim dietitian period and complete or take their national exam in May. So that's the timeline for students. I see you. Yeah.
I think I know.
They're asking a different question, Shinyan.
Sorry?
They're asking a different question, Shinyan.
Okay.
What I think they're asking is, like, do we get an application and then like admit those people? The answer is no. We don't look at the applications until after the deadline.
Oh.
And then everybody gets so everybody would get the same chance if they applied in July, September, October, or November, right before the deadline. That doesn't matter. You all get looked at after the deadline together. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Skylar.
No worries.
Yeah, I guess I'm just trying to get us through this program, get this question done. My apology if somebody asked this question that I maybe read it wrong in the initial spot, but thank you, Skylar, for explaining that. Yes, we do everything after November, everything closed. So it's 5 p.m. and I'm gonna stop sharing and go to my final slides here for you. There we go. And share screen. So yeah, just to commit to our time, it's 5. So I want to conclude our session here. I know there's more questions to be addressed in the Slido. My recommendation and highly encouraging is that go ahead and email me dietetics.admissions@ubc.ca. I'm very happy to address any questions you have. We can also set up advising session to talk through some of the questions. Yeah, thank you so much again for everyone coming today. And we look forward to application in December or the end of November.